Hey, do you remember that one time when we've only been dating for a couple of weeks and
No,
you
that's not about. That's
jumped,
not about you. That's
you jumped on my lap
no.
and farted?
I don't remember that.
Oh, it happened.
No.
And it was also the moment
Yes,
I
I do.
realized that she's the one that I want to marry because
Oh my goodness.
no girl's ever farted in front of me
It was
before.
an accident, but I played it off like, oh yeah, purposefully. Like I was gonna purposely fart on their boyfriend, but I was like, so funny. I was horrible. No, babe. You told me you were going to tell a story about yourself.
Got him.
You want to remember that one time that we fought 5 minutes before our podcast was
Yeah,
supposed
that
to
just
start?
happened. Woo! Help me, Jesus. Lord, help me. Listen, marriage is fun, and it's also frustrating, right? You're having a great time. Friday night was amazing for us. The last 2 days, she wanted to wring my neck.
No.
She's wanted to wring my neck on Saturday and Sunday.
No.
But Friday was like perfect date night. We went on a hike. It was perfect. The last 2 days, here I am. I'm like, hey.
Whatever. Like you don't contribute to it at all.
How's it going?
You're not. No. You better start over right now.
I am not starting over. I am not starting over. Well, hey, welcome back to Young, Dumb, and Love. I'm Julian.
I'm mad.
And she's mad. She's Brittany.
And I'm Brittany.
Hey, real quick, before we continue, just make sure real quick that you subscribe to our podcast, whether you're listening or you're on YouTube, and make sure you hit that bell so that you are reminded every single time we post a video. Well, hey, today we're going to be talking about when two worlds collide. And trust me,
They collide.
when you get married, your words collide. Imagine two worlds literally colliding and there's a big explosion.
Okay, not to be dramatic.
Well,
Ew, David.
well, a lot of the premise of what we're going to be talking about today is things I wish somebody would have told me, because I had my world, she had her world. Now, we had our world together, right? And the thing is that it was going really good while we were dating, you know? I mean, things were great. I mean, besides the one time where she tried to break up with me and I started hyperventilating and it almost threw up in my car. But
Once a drama queen, always a drama queen.
we don't need to talk about that. I went through a rough breakup, all right? And listen, I was like, I cannot go through this again. And then here she is, because she wanted to go home from Bible college.
Are you okay?
I'm sorry. She wanted to go home from Bible college. So she's like, you know what? I'm going to go home. So I'm just going to break up with him. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Anyways.
Obviously, I was kidding. We're married now. Oh, this is going
when two worlds collide, it is going really well. Thank you.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. But things I wish I would have known before I was married. I knew nothing about women. I mean, when I say nothing. Nothing. When we got married, she said, can you go to the store and get me some tampons? And I'm like, oh, God.
He was so embarrassed.
No.
So embarrassed.
Literally did not what to do. I would almost put a hood on, and I was scared.
Only places with self-checkout. Because it was like
self-checkout, yeah.
Before self-checkout was like a thing. You know, like it wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing, but there were
But there was like a couple stores that had it. So
I
he
would
would
drive
only
20 miles just to find a tampon that I could buy myself.
He would only go to self-checkout. But now it's like no big deal.
Yeah. I got 3 girls in my house, so I have to do all the things for the girls. It's crazy. But listen, I would literally drive 50 miles if I had to, 100 miles, just to make sure that I was hidden and out of sight and I didn't know anybody.
Literally, it's tampons.
It was embarrassing as a young man.
But you were embarrassed to buy anything that had anything to do with
anything
down below. I shouldn't say that. But like you didn't even want to buy like man protection.
I was embarrassed.
I had to grab them.
I was so embarrassed.
Me, I was all like,
I would go around the corner in the store, and she would go there, and I would like go around the corner. I don't know why. I grew up kind of prude. Like I just didn't really understand and know these things very well. Nobody really, really, really taught me these things. And when you get married, I was like, it was like culture shock. Like I was scared to do things. And she would like have conversations with me and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like,
a good example would be I'm a pee with the door open kind of gal, and he's a pee
I'm
with
a
the
pee
door.
with the door shut kind of guy.
Yeah, like I think, there's just, we are completely opposite.
Oh, yeah.
In like everything.
Everything.
So I've ruined him.
But she broke me in pretty fast. Our honeymoon, I plugged the toilet. Honeymoon, plugged the toilet.
Well, and we were staying in like a suite where there's no like doors.
Yeah, it was
so
like
just, it's open.
It was almost like a condo suite. So
but
it's
there was like
open
no
doors.
door to the toilet.
Literally, I call the front desk and I'm like, "Can you bring a plunger?" And yeah, for sure. The guy knocks on the door.
Oh my
Before
gosh.
he can enter my room, I open the door and I go, "Thanks," and I grab it and I pull it in and I shut the door and I'm like so embarrassed. And I'm in there, honeymoon. Just plunging away,
I'm dying.
trying to get rid of it. And the worst part about it is I am dumb. Like the young dumb, and I'm serious. I am dumb. I take that plunger
And goes
I
to the
rinse
shower.
I rinse it off in the shower.
I'm like, what are you doing? Oh my God.
I'm surprised she stayed with me after the first week of marriage.
Me too.
Because there
I'm
were
just
things
kidding.
that she discovered about me. She's like, this guy's an idiot. No wonder you're sitting at the edge of your mom's bed saying, can I just divorce you?
That was so disgusting. Literally. There's still things you do.
Oh, yeah.
Like the other day, Elsie goes poop and you go to clean out her potty.
Yep.
And it has poop in it.
No.
No, yeah.
I poured the poop.
No.
No, I poured it into the toilet.
But there was still poop in the toilet.
There were streaks.
Yep. And you're
Streaks.
just pouring it down the bathroom sink where we brush our teeth. Nasty.
I use soap. Soap
You're
kills
nasty.
germs. Does soap kill germs?
You never know.
I'm just saying.
There's literally.
If it says
anyway,
99.9%, we're fine.
too many poop stories. Got more if you want them.
Oh, we got plenty to tell you about. But listen.
They're all Julian's.
So they're all my. Nah, they're not all my story.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell yours?
No.
Okay.
No. I think we should move forward.
Let's move on before someone
Yeah.
gets in trouble and has to sleep on the couch tonight. That would never happen though, because
It's
we
not
love each
gonna be
other
me.
too much. So many of our issues that we dealt with
Yeah.
really stemmed from things like not knowing each other's expectations and what we need from each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably more you than me, because I'm just like, I felt like I was naive and didn't really know, and I didn't think through things, and I wasn't thinking like, oh, I wonder how she's fit. Like it just wasn't a natural thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Where she had like a way of life, and I was just ready to party, you know?
Well, you're a kid at heart.
Yeah, I'm a kid at heart.
And, I think that carried into being married a little bit.
100%.
Like, oh, why would I worry about cleaning that if I can clean it later?
Yep.
Or
why would I make
video games are super fun,
Yeah.
so why would I stop playing them?
Why would I make the bed? I'm going to get back in it later.
Yeah.
Why would I put my underwear in the actual hamper
When the
I
floor
could put-
looks so good?
the floor is just
and
the perfect place?
I mean, the thing is, it usually stems from something else too, but I am very organized
Yeah.
to this day. I like the bed made every morning. I'm a creature of very much of habit.
Yep.
I have my pot of coffee that's made at a certain time. I do. I'm very
Yeah, I'm a very busy man.
particular.
I prep the coffee at night to make sure that
I do
she's
sometimes.
happy in the mornings. You know what I'm saying?
And Julian's just not organized. But also, it's a lot of like our upbringing too. Like my,
When she says organized, she's talking about
Clean.
like house, like the house stuff. Like
yeah.
I think, why make the bed?
And I'm like,
I'm gonna get
who
in
doesn't
it later.
make their
I
bed?
can
That's
pull the blanket up.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I remember like I was working full time and I would come home and we lived in like this little house and I would come home and Julian would be playing video games. And I had worked like an 8-hour shift plus, drove there and back playing video games. The bed would not be made. There'd be dishes in the sink, no dinner plans or anything like that. And literally, and this is not to be dramatic, like Julian has a flair for the dramatic. I just spit the facts, okay? They may sound dramatic, but they're true. Underwear sitting on the ground, a pile of dirty clothes. And I'm like, but there's a basket. I've told him there's a basket for the dirty clothes. If you put your dirty clothes in the basket, I will wash them, fold them, and I put them away. To this day,
Facts.
I put his clothes away most of the
Facts.
time.
She's amazing.
And I don't mind, but put them in the dirty clothes. Like, just, yeah.
I don't know.
So sometimes I will find a little pile of man clothes. There's only one man who lives in this house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she's...
Anyway.
I wish I could say she's lying, but...
But I would get frustrated, but to his defense... To his defense, that's a hard pill to swallow.
I feel so big right now. Like, I just...
Big.
My heart just grew 10 sizes
Why?
because you said, to his defense.
Oh, stop it. I admit when I'm wrong a lot. To your defense, I didn't necessarily express my expectations. I assumed, which we know what that does, that you would make the bed. Like, that it was obvious. Like, it has to be obvious to make the bed, right?
Yeah.
I just figured I worked all day. You stayed home when you should have a job.
That's a whole nother subject for another time.
Another time. You know, I was working hard, supporting us. I was 18.
Yep.
And so I would come home and there'd be like no dinner plans, no nothing. And I'm just like, do you not appreciate that I just like worked and you're playing a video game? And so I would literally come home, pack a bag for the gym, not to leave him, but for the gym. And I would just be like, okay, I'm going to go. We can figure out dinner later, or you can just eat by yourself. And he would just be like, okay, bye.
Okay,
like
bye.
He had no idea.
So naive. Had no clue what was going on.
But I didn't express my expectations.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so now he knows I like the bed mate. I mean, it's been a long time, so he should know. But it's transferred into like other things that are, you know, even though the bed is a big deal to me, that are more important, that I need to express my expectation. And if I don't, then I can't necessarily be upset if he doesn't meet that expectation. Because ladies, listen, as much as I would like to tell you that one day he will read your mind, he will not read your mind. Yes, I would say he's become more intuitive for sure. Like, knows kind of what's going on, can sense if I'm like having a hard time, but he can't read your mind. So sometimes you just have to set the expectation like, hey, and do it when you're not frustrated.
Oh my gosh, please.
You know, and I think if we would have done that in the beginning of our marriage better, it would have saved a lot of heartache. We've come to a place where we can, not that every conversation goes super well, but we're good at saying like, hey, these are some things that are not being fulfilled or not happening. They need to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I am super organized. I'm very type A. I like things ran a certain way.
Yep.
And
she does. And I'm okay with it being just random
and messy
and fun.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
And that's even just with like our Enneagrams, like we were perfect for each other. She grounds me because I would just like go skydiving right now.
Money,
like, why not?
do whatever,
And spend money and have fun and party and go on vacations and never stop. Right. And she's like organized and understands money and understands a lot of things. And she goes, no, like we have to think about this. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, you're right. We should think about this. It'll make a big difference. And I've been so much, I've grown so much in it, but I've been a better person because of her way of thinking. Now, at the same time, my way of thinking has helped her a lot, you know?
I was just going to say, this isn't like a bash, Julia.
Yeah, no,
like,
not at all.
I think, you know, for
I'm
me,
okay with you saying the
I'm
truth.
less, in some ways, less regimen than I used to be. Like,
you're way more now.
Like, literally this morning we left and the bed wasn't made. The house was messy. There were dishes everywhere.
Shocking.
But I had to decide like, okay, I just need to like
let it go.
But a lot of that is like personal, like my personal preferences of the way the house is and whatever would become like barriers for us, you know? So I think one of the things is when you're newly married, or if you've been married a long time, or you're going to get married, or you're in any kind of relationship, set up clear expectations when you're not frustrated so that it's not taken personally. Because in the heat of the moment, it always comes off frustrated. And we were just talking like, is it going to be a fruitful conversation or a frustrating conversation? And if it's going to be frustrating, maybe take a breath and wait. You know, like today would not have been a day for a fruitful conversation it would have been a frustrating conversation.
It was a great day overall.
It was we had a great day.
It's just moments.
It's just me. I was having a rough day. Whatever. But is it going to be fruitful? You know, because I think at the end of the day, you want to make me happy.
100%.
And
That's all I
want to make him happy. So how can we do that for each other? And sometimes it's the expectations, whatever those may be. Like, hey, I need you to clean up. You know, and it may be for him, it's, hey, babe, I need
sex.
I can't.
That's what it is. Just say what it is.
I can't say that.
That's like the only expectation, like at all. Like, but she's gotten to the point where she's been able to express herself and say, "Hey, this is what I need." That even I'm tuning my own horn right now. To the point where, like, I knew that we left, and I knew that the house was messy today. Yeah. And today I went upstairs, and she was downstairs, and I started cleaning up, and I made the bed, and I started doing things without her asking me to. And you know what? I don't need a thanks. I don't need a pat on the back. I was just doing it. It helps for sure. Or other things. But
please cut that out.
No, no, it's not. I'm not cutting it out. Listen, I did those things because I care about her and I love her and I've heard her. I've listened to what she has to say. Now, even though it's not a big deal to me, because it's a big deal to her, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I try my very best to take care of her in that way. And I think it's been like the best thing for us when I do actually try and put effort into the stuff like making the bed. Like I said, it's not a big deal, but it blesses her beyond belief. And at the end of the day, she can feel in a comfy place because that's where her comfort zone is, and that's where she thrives in her life. And so I will do everything that I can to listen to her, to follow through with what she says, and she will do the same for me. And she's done it above and beyond. She's become like the party planner. I don't even know how that happened, because if it were up to her, she would just stay down home all the time on her couch and drink her coffee and watch her TV and relax and just be at home with her kids and play video games. My favorite thing to do. It's just, that's her thing. And I'm like, I love that stuff too, and it's great, but man, like to go and I want to party. I want to go do things. I want to experience life, you know? And she has become the person who really tries super hard to make sure that we create those moments as much as possible. So that's her fulfilling my needs at the same time, which is awesome.
Well, and I think too, expectations often come from like a deeper place. Like, I don't just need the bed made so that it looks pretty. Honestly, I don't even really like the way it looks, but
I didn't do a great job.
No, I'm saying like I need new bedding as I'm looking at it because it's over there. But it's for me, I am a very like, if things around me look disorganized, I struggle to mentally be organized, you know, and I have a deep sense of like responsibility. So I'm like, nope, I have to do all my chores before I can do something fun. So my need really isn't like just make the bed because I want the bed made. There's usually a need behind it, you know?
All the time,
just kind of knowing that too, like that seems so dumb that my spouse wants whatever it is. They like this, or they want me to do that, or it's so important to my wife when I take the trash out and the recycling. Like, who cares? But it's like a need behind it. You know, and women, we do like to be provided for and feel secure and feel safe. And it could be like the littlest thing, like taking out the trash or whatever. So it's like realizing that there's like, it's not just something clean.
It's not the action.
Not all the time.
It's the deeper need.
Like, and feeling seen and like what I want matters, you know, and same with Julian. And Julian's a lot more chill than I am.
Things, when things go wrong, you can always count on me to be like, it's okay. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be good.
But I've become more like that.
You have. You've gotten very much like that, and you've grown so much. And that's the cool thing about marriage and life together. When you continue to move forward with each other, you're so many things that you weren't good at, like for you, if it was like something bad happened, natural abilities to go down a deep hole, right? And think of all the worst things possible, where I'm kind of like a glass half full guy. Now, after the years, when something bad happens, Brittany's now become the person who goes, it's going to be okay. Like, we've seen things happened before, and we've come through on the other side, and it's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. Now, deep down inside of her, she's probably like, her little voice, you know, that you like Lizzie McGuire, her little voice would always talk to her.
Oh, I love Lizzie McGuire.
And the little voice is just talking to her, and there's
Yeah.
something in there that's like, oh man, yeah, all hell's going to break loose, and everything's going to burn to the ground. But she's able to really just filter and understand the truth that it's going to be okay, because we are hardworking people. And I really believe that when with time and with effort, and as you continue to grow with your spouse and you learn these things, that you will grow in the things that your spouse needs big time. But I really do. I want to say one more thing before we head out. But going back to the choose a time that's fruitful and not frustrating, I really do believe that that's like if you don't learn anything today, let this be the one thing that you resonate with, is that not every single time is the best time to talk about things, right? I've heard people say all the time, don't go to bed angry. I'm like, now sometimes you need to take the time, go sleep it off, and then talk about it in the morning.
Yeah, because we were like, swore we would never go to bed.
Yeah, at first.
Angry.
That was our thing at first. And I'm like, that's so dumb, because
I want to sleep, and I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Yeah, and
I'm still angry.
And there were times we stayed up super late over like, and it just wasn't good for us. And what we've realized is, you know what? I'm not going to go sleep on the couch. God forbid, that's not happening. That's not happening. But you know what's going to happen? We're going to sleep in the same bed. We're going to get our rest. And then when there's a better time where we can have a real conversation, where we're not heated in the moment, we are able to get so much more done when it comes to our relationship. And we were able to have actual fruit grow from this. And, you know, a lot of times we don't remember what we even fought about, or we're trying to figure it out. We're like, what's the deeper issue? Usually it's not about that one thing that we were fighting about. It's about something that happened a week ago or a couple of days ago, but something just kind of made it stir up, right? And that's where we were able to just understand and focus on the actual problem and have fruit in our conversations, so that we can move forward and grow with each other. So don't just talk. Don't just sit there and talk in the midst of all your pain, in the midst of your frustration, your fighting. Just take a breath. Just breathe. Just take a moment. Step back. Take a moment. Go to your corners. You could duke it out later. I'm telling you, this is probably the best thing we've ever learned to do.
Well, and now the things that used to be that I would find really annoying, I've grown. I wouldn't say I've grown to love them. But they kind of make me chuckle. You know, like it used to drive me nuts to find your dirty underwear and a pair of socks, a pair of white socks, right next, you know, all right there in this little pile. But now when I see that, I'm like, okay. And so it's like, I don't know, I've grown.
Now when she sees that, that means it still happens.
Yeah, it happens literally all the time. I'll be like, I'll take the dirty clothes basket downstairs to do the laundry. And then if he's upstairs, he'll just leave it where the dirty clothes basket is instead of bring it downstairs. But that's okay. Because now it's like, instead of it enraging me like it used to, it's like, I don't know. I've learned to, you know, just let it go a little bit and know that it's not on purpose. Like he's not trying to be malicious by leaving his dirty underwear on the ground. It's just, you know,
my thought process is just a little different. You know, I'm like, the basket will be here again. I'm going to put it in the basket once it arrives.
I mean, I usually am the one who puts it in the basket, because who puts the basket back
Because
upstairs?
you beat me to the punch. You beat me to the punch.
I'm the best.
You really are. And it's the truth. The more you grow with each other, the more you're with each other, the more you understand, and you learn to just love them through the things that may have bothered you in the past. And it's not a big deal. Like, it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal. Like,
well, and you never really get to that place unless you push through together, you know. And like I said, like we're talking about underwear and a dirty basket, or, you know, making the bed. And although that was important to me, like some things are bigger issues, like whatever they may be, but you'll never really see it through to the other side unless you have those conversations. And now 15 years later, I can chuckle about it. But 15 years ago, I was not.
No, fights.
Yeah.
Fights over it.
You know, because I felt like he wasn't I don't know, like it almost felt like you were dishonoring me by leaving
Yeah.
dirty underwear on the ground,
Yeah.
which that wasn't his heart, you
Yeah.
know, but now I've seen it through.
Yeah, and she's laid out her expectations for me, and I understand her now. Even though I still do it, I'm working through it. We're still learning how to not do those things.
Oh no, I'm convinced you're going to be 90 years old and
Heck
I'm
yeah.
going to be picking up your dirty underwear off the ground.
Why do they got to be dirty? Why can't they just be like
I'm
normal?
not saying they're like dirty. They're just like dirty.
That's so true. No, you're probably 100% right.
I'm 1,000% right.
I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to vow right now. I'm going to do my very best to always put my dirty underwear in the basket.
Okay, we'll see how it goes.
Well, hey, thank you for listening today. And I really hope that you understand when two worlds collide, man, it can be messy. It can be hard, but it doesn't have to be. It can truly be when two worlds collide, but they can mesh. They can become one world. It can be a beautiful thing for you guys to live in, but it's going to take work. It's going to take time. You know what it's going to take? It's going to take communication, learning how to understand each other, putting your expectations out there for each other so that you know what your spouse needs, and then you take action and learn how to do those things to make sure that they're taken care of. Well, thank you for watching today, Young, Dumb, and in Love, When Two Worlds Collide. Real quick, don't forget, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that bell so you don't miss any more episodes. Or if you're just listening on the podcast, make sure you subscribe to that as well. It's super helpful, and we hope that you enjoy it.
Once a month, starting next month in March, we will be answering your questions on one of our episodes. You can send those questions. Maybe you have feedback, input, questions you may want. Julian, where can they send those to?
Yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube, just put it in the comment below, or you can get on Instagram, send us a DM, and we'll answer it there. Also, you can send us an email, old school, to info@young-dumb-and-in-love.
When did email become old school?
It's pretty old school, but it's new. You know what I'm saying?
info@youngdumb
Yeah,
and
in love.
love.
Yep.
.com.
info@youngdumbandinlove.com. And you know what? If you send those in, we'll make sure that we do our very best to answer your questions and just be a part of what you have going on inside of your life.